All right, then, let's go to our next story. You know, the war of nerves between telcos and subscribers in our country was sure going to raise hairs, given the economic downturn. And so the National Association of Telecommunications Subscribers met with the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, seeking a reversal of the 50% telecom tariff hike to, say, 100%. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, is mobilizing for a showdown, you know. Recall that operators initially requested for 100% tariff jack-up, but the government approved 50. The hot debate continues. Adekunle.
You know, the telecom industry is a massive, big industry.
Yeah.
And
you can say that again.
Yep. And when you look at this increase, 50%, at a time the economy is still struggling, nobody will want it. And that's why you see all manner of growth, the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students, you know, NANS, you see Labour, see all of them, you know. The truth is, the voice called from 12 naira to 18 naira. Nigerians are used to data now, using their phones, enjoying. It will impact, you know, their budgets, in the, you know, household budgets, you know, text messages, data, voice calls at this time. But when you look at the complaints of the telco, they say they are growing under very, very harsh operating
they are yoking, like Nigerians are yoking
God
too.
bless you. That energy cost is almost, you know, killing that industry. And that is probably the only privatization we have been able to get right in Nigeria. You know, when we try to liberalize some of the sectors, this one is a success story. It's a success story. And how do we go about it? You know, everybody is saying this. Labour is saying we go for over 10 years. There has not been any increment, maybe in services, ranging from voice call that they've done, I think, a bit about data at some point. The truth is that industry needs funds to keep going. Without fund injection, that sector will not make progress. When you look at what is happening across Nigeria, the insecurity is bringing a lot to bear on the services, you know, and operating cost of these telcos. Now, you look at the cost of diesel and other activities. So how do we do it? I think I'm of the opinion that one of those stakeholders said the best option now is not to kill the average Nigerian who are already, you know, feeling the heat on the economy. That they are saying the timing is wrong and the magnitude is really, really too much, 50%. Labour is asking, Labour and other groups are, I think, no, subscribers association are asking for 10%. 10%. Will the 10% take care of what the telcos are demanding? Because the telcos, most of them are demanding for over 100% increment, not 50%. So the government, out of, you know, its own wisdom, to say, okay, how do we balance it?
Let's meet somewhere in the middle.
Let's meet in the middle. That's why meeting in the middle, some of the telcos are not happy. They believe it will not solve the magnitude of the issues, the challenges they are facing. Now, the users, we are not happy, even with the 50%. It's really a big problem. So now, with a suggestion, someone saying, why not, you know, go do IPOs, initial public offer, that people will buy, then there will be fund injection when you have, and to me, that
in other words, there's a way around it.
There is almost every problem we have a solution if you can think deep. Now, when I saw it, I thought, this is good. If the banks are doing it, everyone, why don't you go to the stock exchange? You know, you don't have to self-fund all your, you know, projects. give, and you make money, and you'll be able to render more services, I mean, seamlessly, because we have not really made enough progress we are supposed to have made in that sector. We'll be able to achieve some progress, but today we are supposed to have moved faster, because when you look at what is happening worldwide, we are still far behind.
Yeah.
Given where we started from, we are supposed to have moved very fast. But since many of the privatization efforts have not yielded much, the one that we have, we keep, we have.
Yeah, Charles, again, these are times that call for a lot of thinking out of the box.
Yes. I'm part of it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there must be a way out.
Yeah, but let me start my contribution towards what he said. I mean, to what he said earlier. I will start from the IPO. Thankfully, I was business editor once. I covered money market as well as stock market. So I have more than a modicum level of knowledge of how it works. Initial public offer is good, but it's not a cure-all in this situation. I can tell you that, because first, you go to the market, you go source fund from everybody, and you bring the funds. You have funds to you. Are you saying when you have funds to spend, so the operating costs you are suffering, the funds will just start pushing funds there? The people you are raising the offer from, there are people who are going to be waiting for you at the end of the year for you to declare profits. So where will you get the money to give them as profit? Is these people's money? So when I read that report about public, I said this is a. I don't want to use any word that is incontinent. Public offer is good, but public offer IPO will not work in this situation. You can't ask Jones to borrow me money to run business because he has given me so much money. I will now crash prices, and then at the end of the day, he will be asking me for the return. Where will I get the return?
Yeah.
So IPO will not work. What will work is, as you said, they are bleeding. You see, the situation I'm in now is quite precarious. You know why? I'm part of a system that's also running business.
Okay.
I know how we're suffering. I know how much before we did one or two things. We're spending, the radio station that I manage, we're spending about 140,000 daily on diesel. So a number of times we'll come up with jacking up the commercial rates about jingle and all that. Oh no, it's too much. Then we'll say, okay, what do? We want us to remain maybe at 5,000 naira per one
60 seconds.
60 seconds and all that. So, and then you have the overhead, you have operational costs. And so it's a very difficult thing for now. And as he said, it calls for us to be thinking out of the box, to be creative. There must be a way out, but one of the ways is not to go to the stock market, because the people are there you're going to be raising money from. At the end of the day, you are going to be declaring dividend, declaring taxes, declaring profit. Okay. Where will you get the money to pay them?
Okay, as at December last year, 18 banks in Nigeria are owing the telcos over 250 billion. You get what I'm saying? So it's not just about individuals like you and I, even institutional, debts. Yeah. So when you look at that sector, when you do IPOs, you have more money to do expansion, because not every part of Nigeria is covered now. So to upgrade your services, your capacity and all of that, that's the aspect I'm talking about.
But the aspect,
as per the operating cost, I think the government will have to play a role. Good. Because the government cannot sit down and watch the sector die. It's not possible.
But at the same time, gentlemen, let's talk about services by telcos.
Well, so somebody said.
You know the typical complaints.
I do know exactly. Epileptic and all that. Right? Somebody said that even I don't know. I'm not in that industry. I'm a journalist. Somebody said air is free. What they are charging you is the infrastructure. They are not charging you for the air because air is free. But the infrastructure, no. Now, Adebule was talking about upgrading all these things.
Airtime is another name for call time.
Call time, but again, that's what I'm saying, is the infrastructure I'm paying for. So, but the air itself is free, given by God. But the infrastructure to tap the air for me to be able to reach you is what we are paying for, which of course is very expensive. Now, if you say they have to get this money to go to do expansion, you said there has this telephony has not even covered everywhere. Now you go to up north, far up, maybe places very as far flung as maybe Madugri or the Chad Basin. You get in there, no light. You have to put maybe generator down. You have to buy diesel. And from the IPO you raised, you are going to be using it to now going over there to operate. So how do you make profit to pay back to the people that gave you money? That's where my concern is, Adekunle. So where it will now go back to government. Government do in all over the world. There are some people, government will come to now come in as a leveler. Leveler in the sense that you can, all these things you're talking about conditional cash transfer. We heard that government is going to be getting about 75 million or about 75 million Nigeria, 70,000 naira a month. So we can deploy such thing to issues like this. Instead of giving money to people, why don't you put it to, okay, can we use to help so that Nigerians can go do? So government cannot, this is exactly where governments can come in as a way of subsidy. You can subsidize it, and actually it's Nigerians. When Nigerians are making costs, the telcos are making money, then telcos are paying tax to the government. So it's a win-win for everybody. So I think government cannot just answer, as you said, there's a way the government can come in, as a leveler to say, okay, let's take some of this burden off the citizenry, and then by way of all this dashing money, all this, they can use it to succor us. So that's my contribution to it in this, Adekunle.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, that sector must never be allowed to crumble.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of other sectors depend on that sector.
I agree.
We've also here now. We're also there.
Look at the way we use our phones today. The connectivity, the internet access, everything. Without quality service, many things will be affected because a lot of businesses thrive because of internet access. So remember the days of when we will have to go and queue, take tally number in cyber cafes, and you remember?
Yes, of course.
We must not go back to that.
I have an auntie that went to
you remember?
4 p.m.
So we must never. So the government, because part of the problem they are facing, increased security is also a problem.
Which is part of the operating cost.
When they put all their base stations, you have to employ guard. You have to because when you compare the cost of using MTN or Glo or any of these services in Nigeria, and you move to just poorer neighboring countries, you will be shocked that we are overbuilt. But when you ask questions and you look deeper, you realize that most of the problems we battle with here, they don't have it over there. So when there is no security, when energy cost is very high, what do you do? We need to do something, and the government is there to address all of this. The government will need to look into that.
So the debate is interminable.
Because
it continues.
If they succeed with this 50%, based on findings, what we got, it will still not address the monumental challenges fully. It won't address fully.
But part of it is a road to somewhere.
And they will still,
it's a road to somewhere.
They are still coming back. That's the point I wanted to make. So the best way is to provide the enabling environment that can make the government.
That's what I'm saying. But the government is now saying, they came to the government, they said 100%. The government said no.
That's the regulator.
So the 50%, what portion of this government pay?
That's the regulator, the NCC.
Yes,
the federal government can step in and make everything.
And another thing is,
mine is it's a two-way street always. You agree? Telcos must also think about the service, or the services they are giving to the consumer.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with you because if services are quality services, they will also be happy. I mean, you have people tied to you. I mean, a lot of people.
But let's not.
That's why the idea of fund injection is not a bad thing. It can address some of their problems.
But it will not address the high cost of
energy thing. The government is the only one that can do that.
Gentlemen, insecurity. The fact must be made here and now that Nigerians are ready to pay for services if they aren't quarreling with the services.
But that's not what they are quarreling with now. They're calling with the individual economists. And the pocket is dry.
Nobody
is talking about quality.
Nobody is discussing quality. They are discussing affordability now.
It's the cost.
Which is cost.
That's the problem. It's not about the quality. I mean, nobody's talking about whether the quality is so high.
So you want me to withdraw that?
You remember the level of inflation in the economy? Yeah. The percentage increment in electricity costs.
Yes.
Now, diesel and all of that. Government can come in, I believe so much, because
the threat by Labour, for me, I waived it because you say you're going to boycott. If you boycott, how do we get the information? It's not true all these things. So I think Labour too, for me, let me say so. I think Labour for me, I think they are over. Let me stop with the okay.
No. To Labour, we say care must be taken so that Labour will not fight many battles and lose a war.
And lose all. Okay, well, again, lose a war. Well, I wish they would actually.
Okay, then, gentlemen, let's move to our next subject matter. You know, these are indeed times that try men's souls. A number of armed groups are operating on our territory. Quite apart from the Boko Haram, fighting for the replacement of the secular Nigerian state with an Islamic one, there is the deadly Lakurawa group, reportedly affiliated with extremist organizations operating in the Sahel. So let us tell you that a federal court has declared the deadly gang, that is Lakurawa, a terrorist organization. Justice James Omotosho, while issuing the order on Thursday, prescribed the sect even as he barred any individual or group from associating with it in any way. Now we know what to do, Charles.